What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the For the Crew podcast, sponsored by ClearPoint Audio and in partnership with the National Soccer Network. My name is Brian. I am your host. I am joined by my co-hosts, Matt and Nate, aka Not Gabe, because I once called Gabe Nate, and now I'm not going to call Nate Gabe because that wouldn't not make sense. How are you guys doing?
I'm okay. I'm still recovering.
Still recovering.
Oh
Yes.
no, Matt! We can't hear Matt again.
We can't hear Matt again. Okay, Matt just says keep going, and he'll figure it out on his end. Anyways,
All
yeah,
right.
as well. We're going to talk about the game, and hopefully, yeah, we've just been having some technical difficulties for those of you listening, so we're working on audio. Audio may not cut in or out at times, and Matt's working on trying to get that stuff figured out. Yeah, still you went to the game last night, right?
I did. It was
Was the atmosphere at least good, or was it just like, eh?
I feel like apathy is starting to set in.
Yeah,
Um I think the big problem that the team has, and we'll touch on this more throughout the episode, but they're sucking but fun to watch,
yeah.
and they're not fun to watch. Like,
So then it's you said they're sucking, but they're fun to watch, but they're not fun to watch.
yeah, like there's a thing where it's like if a team sucks but they're fun to watch, they're watchable.
But they're also not fun to watch, so it's just not great.
Yeah, and it's not because they're not scoring goals. Like we've seen entertaining 0-0 games,
Yep,
but
Yep. Hey, there's Matt.
man,
I'm
Hey, Matt,
back.
how are you doing?
he's
I'm
back.
here.
Yeah,
That's
his
about as
voice.
much as I can say.
Deal with it. It's fine. He's here. All
We're
right,
gonna
so
run
we're
with
gonna
this.
sorry. So we're gonna get into talking about the post game Columbus Crew taking on Nashville SC. But first, quick shout out to our sponsor, ClearPoint Technology and Design. They custom design audio, video, network, and security systems for churches, schools, sports bars, event venues, and new construction projects around the country. What stands out about ClearPoint is their people first approach. They're not just trying to sell equipment; they actually spend time understanding the space and designing systems that solve problems, enhance the atmosphere, and make the experience better for everyone using it. Based out of Westerville, Ohio, local company, support local, love that, and their Google reviews speak for themselves. Mention the For the Crew podcast code with For the Crew. That's number four, the crew, for a 10% discount off your project, plus another 5% if you follow them on social media. Check them out at clearpointdesign.com. Huge shout out to them. As you can tell, we're all rocking our new equipment. The ClearPoint has sponsored with us. So, like I said, yeah, we're very excited that partnership with them. So just be sure to check them out for any and all of your project needs you might need with AV stuff. They're some awesome people. And again, it's a local company. So we like supporting local. So yeah, go check them out. ClearPointTechDesign.com. Anyways, so let's get into this game, guys. Columbus Crew falling 1-0 to Nashville SC on the 25,000th goal of MLS Cup. No, not MLS Cup. Sorry, MLS
The
regular
league,
season
right?
play. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
regular season goals. Not how you want to be remembered for that. Not how you want to be remembered giving up a goal literally within the last like minute of added time. Haney Mukhtar coming through in the 90 plus 3 or 90 plus 4,
Yeah,
something
it
like
was.
that. So Columbus Crew blowing the lead again. We now fall um, to two draws and two losses now. So we're
Mhm.
not looking very good, and it was extremely frustrating because Nashville had Champions Cup this week, and so they rested all of their DP players, all of their pretty much all of their starters, the good chunk of them, for the first half. And so it's basically like the Columbus Crew playing Nashville too, and they still could not score a goal, and it's extremely frustrating. Nate, I will be quiet and take your answer.
It was it was funny watching the game, being there in person, because I remember what Matt and I talked about in the preview episode,
Yep.
and it was like every player that we said to watch out for
Didn't
Nashville was
start.
not on the field.
Yeah, no move.
And the
Yep.
worst part about it, I'm sitting there like we still have no chance.
At this
That
point, like
was
it feels like that's a fair assessment, though. I mean, it's not to knock. I guess I shouldn't say the quality of even their backup players because they're still professionals. But when
Hmm.
you look at that lineup and you can't even, aside from Alex Muyl, it's like I don't know anybody else on that team that started.
Yeah.
And we have literally our best starting 11 out there that we could probably have. Now, granted, we did put one in the back of the net, but it was offside.
Yep.
But we should have put up 2 to 3 goals, in my opinion, in that first half, and we couldn't do it. And
Yeah.
not really sure what the issue is there.
I don't want to crap all over the team because they are in a transition period. And I think it's fair to say that transition periods in MLS last roughly 3 to 4 months at maximum. But the flow of play, the positioning of the players, it just never felt right. And it once Mukhtar, once Surridge came on the field, and then they brought in Espinoza, and like it was like the 60 something minute.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, all right, this is gonna be overwhelming for them. And then, our subs were kind of, we made more than one sub yesterday, but I feel like they were kind of ill timed. It was the
Yeah,
64th, 77th, and
we,
88th
we
minute. So
waited
it was
way
just
too long
like,
for that.
so I'll let Matt go because I've talked a lot already. But once we come back around, I got one thing I want to say about how the team actually looked. So go ahead, Matt. What's your thoughts on the game?
Um, I I'm just yeah. I think apathy is the right word. I'm at the point now where I'm just like I'm not even upset. I'm kind of just like expecting it eventually to happen where we don't score goals. Like, well, if we can't put the ball in the net, they're gonna put it in eventually. And I think both losses we let in a goal in the last 10 minutes to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
um, it's just really frustrating because I don't see where the fix is in
no,
this club right now.
That is the most
Yeah.
concerning thing. Is I look
yeah,
at it and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's a roster build,
Yeah.
and you might touch on this later because you said you have some stuff written down. But what you said last
Yeah.
night in our chat
What?
is how I felt in the summer last year about blowing the team up.
Oh, I mean, honestly, when we had what 9 guys who were on option years, and
Hmm.
we took all but one.
Keep in mind
Yeah.
that's when you know you're losing Cucho, and then in the summer you know you're losing Nagby. It's the perfect time
Yeah, it's a perfect
to
time to
hit
be
the
like,
reset.
let's reset. Yeah.
So we'll touch on that more, but that
Yeah.
was like when you said that, I was like, that's how I feel
I
going back
did
to last year.
I did a TikTok live with a Nashville creator, Big TV NSC, and we talked for like 45 minutes before the game started. And I mean, I had asked him about the whole like roster kind of being shuffled around because of Champions Cup, and he originally was like, "Oh, I think we're gonna win this game 2-0," and then when he looked at the new roster, he was like, "Oh, this might be a game now," which kind of felt like at my core, I was like, "That feels
slight,
disrespectful."
yeah.
um,
But it's
uh,
also true.
but
Like
it's
it's
true.
truthful.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it. I looked at the roster and I was like, "This is not." I still don't feel confident that we're gonna blow this team out of the water. I keep wanting to be because I'm a Crew fan and I'm like, this is gonna be the game where things turn around. But
Yeah,
it it just doesn't. I don't see any sign of it turning around. And I
yeah.
think that's the most frustrating part. Is I think Nate, you said it
Well,
earlier. It's like it's fine if you're losing, but you look entertaining. We don't
Hmm.
yeah.
we don't look like we have any ideas at all.
Well, and
Well, and
sorry,
go
go ahead,
ahead,
Nate.
Brian.
Well, I was gonna say, I think that one of the frustrating things for me is that, you know, again, it's hard. It's getting harder to pinpoint where the issue is coming from. But I
Yeah.
will say this: when 2 of your 3 DPs are not producing in the capacity that you really need them to, and with one of them being confined to the bench, who also needs to not be on the bench, even though he doesn't play well, he makes way too much money to sit on the bench.
Yep.
I like in terms of crew signings and DP, Daniel Gazdag is the worst one that we've had so far in the history of DP signings for the crew.
Oh, I think
I
it's
think we can all
by
agree
far.
on that. Um, but to not even bring him in that game is like maybe a little shocking to me. But there was a lot of discussion last night, and Matt, like I slightly agreed with you, but I also slightly disagree.
Mhm.
Um,
About Rossi.
so, well, so a couple things. Rossi is, and he is not a creator. He's not the kind of number 10 creator that like your Federico Higuain was or your Lucas Zellerán was. He's a little bit more direct attacking number 10, in my opinion.
I'll go into it in a
But
second.
I also think that maybe if you don't feel, and we don't feel that he is that way, he needs to start becoming a little bit more that way because nobody's really doing that except for maybe Dylan Chambeau, and I don't think that he's the person to do that, to try to dictate that play. Maybe that will be Gomez as well. I understand that he's a defensive midfielder, but he played incredible in his first game, in my opinion. Um, but I think it's also time to start being like, hey, no offense, Wessam Abouali is not really showing up in some of these games. Now, that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. I understand he's scoring goals. I understand he's a great player, but I also think that maybe, I don't know. I don't want to say that we jumped the gun because I think it's still too early. I mean, he didn't get that many games last season either. Um, but to put him at the status that he should be at and the way that this system works, I'm struggling to see what he is doing to help benefit that per se, because I haven't really seen a lot so far. There have been some good goals. He did score some goals last year. He scored like one or like a couple goals this season, but I just need to see more out of him, especially for DP. And I think that that's hurting us. That we have two DP players who aren't really living up to par right now either, especially because they're attacking DP players.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Maybe people are listening or watching and they're like, dude, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? He scores goals, whatever. But I think that we would all agree, like, there was some backlash where people are like, oh no, like we can't call Wissam Ali out. Like, to be frank, I don't really feel like I've seen a whole lot from him so far this season. And I don't know if that's just not getting the ball to him at his feet, whether that's him not taking shots, but I also just feel like sometimes he seems a little bit more invisible. Like he's not that attacking prowess like a Cucho was, or heck, even like a Jossie Zardes was in some cases, if you want to throw it back. So I think that he's extremely talented. I'm happy to have him on this roster, but I'm just not exactly sure what he's doing every game. And I think that it needs to be brought up because we put a lot of flack on Daniel Gazdag and all these other people, but I think we need to start asking what is going on with Wissam Ali as well, and why he's not finding the back of the net more often. And maybe that's just our attacking front.
So
I think that
go ahead, Nate.
I think one of the
I
problems
have a lot to say
is
about
that
Rossi.
we just don't have a creator. Like Zardes, Zelerion, Cucho, they were all creators. We've seen years of, even going back to Higuain and even sometimes Justin Miram, we had players that just created plays. We just don't. I don't think we have that on this team, and I don't think we have a player that has that mindset.
Yeah.
And I think it's been a problem, and it's exacerbated by the way that we're trying to play this style of kind of Nancy ball, kind of not. But I think at its core, like, you don't have a creator, and I think that's, if I was to pinpoint one thing for the offense, that's it. Defensively, they played better last night.
Yeah.
But I don't think Camacho is a 90-minute player.
No.
And I think our defensive midfield is one of the weaker points, but we don't really see it because we play 5 in the back with wingers. So I just don't think you see as defensive midfield weaknesses every game.
Hopefully we saw rumors of the Crew searching for a center back from Korberg or whatever that
Same
team's
place
name
we
is.
got Avanzada.
Yeah. So we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. It couldn't hurt. We need something. But yeah. Matt, go ahead though too, because your thing ties in exactly with that.
So, okay, Rossi. You guys saw the kind of quote unquote debate I was having on our Discord channel, but I don't have any issue with Rossi in terms of like being a DP. I think that's the right role for him, but he, for me, we talked about it a few times last year, but he is that quote unquote Robin. He's the second guy. He's the guy who, when
Uh-oh. Lost Matt
Oh
again.
no. Oh no. So
Soccer
what Matt
gods.
was saying, we talked a lot last year about how he is the Robin to a Batman, and
Yeah.
so the player at the top always had kind of that primary role of being the scorer, and Rossi was either filling space or he was creating the pass to get the goals in the net. And I'm articulating this a lot poorer than Matt would because Matt had stuff prepared, but that's kind of the gist of what Matt's getting at. And I think something that's important to remember is even in his Golden Boot season,
am I
Rossi
back?
was that for LA, and Matt's back. So is that kind of what you're getting at,
So
Matt?
yeah, yeah, that's a part of it. I feel like with Rossi, what I was saying was, for a lack of a better word, he needs a player that has gravity, who brings other
Mhm.
players to them, so he has space to do what he does. When he was at LA, he had Carlos Vela. When he was doing really well here, he had Cucho. And I feel like another thing with him is, like, whether it's all the other big guys we've had in the past, whether it's Scalotto or Zelarayan, Cucho, Higuain, whatever, they were floor raisers, right? They were guys who
Mhm.
made the team better by being on the field. For me, Rossi's not a floor raiser. He's not a guy that elevates the team because he's on the field. He's a guy who raises the ceiling, in my opinion. He's a guy who, when we're playing well, if Rossi's on the field, we're that much better because Rossi's there.
Yeah.
And we don't have a floor raiser on this team. I think Andre Gomez might be able to be that guy who helps the team feel more comfortable, but we don't have that guy who is going to create for themselves. Rossi doesn't create for himself. He doesn't.
I would agree.
He does. He's not a guy who you'll see take a free kick at the half line and see the goalkeeper off his line and take a shot. Like,
Yeah.
that's not him. And that's not saying that's a bad thing. But we don't have the player to complement him right now.
So do you think that a new number 10 or a different number 10 who is a creative playmaker is what this team needs right now?
I think if
'Cause
we get that, I
and-
think Rossi gets 20 plus goals plus assists in the season.
yeah. And
Yeah.
like that's a weird thing that I think that I have said in our private chat, like I'm not, or maybe like on the last episode is on, I'm not ready to move on from Diego Rossi. Obviously, like
No,
he's
no,
a very integral part of this
definitely
team by
Mhm.
all means, absolutely not. But in that 10 and that role as a number 10, maybe that is not the specific role for him as it is defined as what a number 10 is. Maybe he is a little, maybe he's, I don't know. I don't know the tactic part of it and how that would work. I don't know what that would make him, but in the sense of that creative playmaker, it's not necessarily him.
Yeah.
Um
And
but
that's
I
what I
don't
mean
know.
by creator.
Yeah.
Is like, I'm not just saying someone who gets assists. I'm saying someone who, just by being on the field, creates chances for himself and other players.
Yeah.
And that's just not what he excels at.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think when people say creator, they might think more literal. Just be like, hey, this is the playmaker, and I don't mean just a play. The person being a playmaker is an excellent part of being a creator, but I think even a bigger part is just their presence on the field is
Yeah.
is something that creates, like, just being there. The other no, there's not any teams right now, I think, that when Rossi has the ball, they're on their toes. They're scared.
Do you
Like,
think I saw a lot of comments about Rossi playing pretty deep last night? I don't know that I actually picked up on that.
he
Do you
did
think
come
that that
back.
was it?
Yeah.
Do you think that that was an issue though? Is like I've seen a bunch of people talk about that. That it's like part of the problem too is that we have Rossi playing so deep that he's not as effective as he would be if he was playing up higher or
No,
something along those lines.
I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
I think the lack of a creator kind of makes it so that he's that guy that comes back and tries to take the ball into the final third. But when that happens, it leaves Abu Ali isolated, and
Yeah. And maybe
Yeah.
that's why we feel like he's not being as productive. Like maybe that's the reasoning for it. And the criticism that I gave him earlier is like that's the reason that you don't really like
Yeah.
see that kind of production out of him. So, but the tough thing is, what are we going to do about it? And as of right now, I don't know what that is. And we every week it sucks. Like, do we just sit here and mope a little bit and like try to play the blame game and try to figure out what's going on and who's at fault? And it's like, is it the team chemistry? Is it? I mean, I already hear people calling for Reedstrom's
I think that's ridiculous.
termination. And I don't think
Yeah.
that is super fair to him.
Mm-mm.
Because and again, I'm not gonna bring up the conversation that I had with somebody about like, hey, like when are we bringing Wilfred and Nancy back? Because there's some things were said and they were political in nature. We're not gonna talk about that, even though I didn't say anything, it had nothing to do with that. Um, but my comment was, I feel like I'm watching Nancy Ball 2.0, and when we play with the same type of system, like I'm not a technical guy, so forgive me for maybe not being as knowledgeable, but like I don't feel like I see much of a difference between this year so far and what we saw at the end of last season with Wolford Nancy, with the only exception being, hey, there was one game where Reedstrom said, hey, we're gonna throw like another center back in, or it was like a wing back or something like that. But we basically went to a back four as opposed to playing with back three. And I was like, okay, cool. Like that's different. And it's something that Wolford Nancy would not do. But as far as it goes, like I just don't really know that I feel like I see much of a difference from
Yeah.
last season, end of last season to right now.
So I got a lot to say about that. I'm not going to get
Go
into
for
what
it.
the dude said, but this attitude, and if I start to rant, please stop me, but this attitude of, oh, we need
Wolford
Nancy
Nancy
back.
fixing our
Oh,
problems. No, he's
please, we
not
need
going to.
Nancy back. Nancy Ball would fix this. Please, somebody that is rational, tell me what part of 2025 Columbus Crew without Cucho and with an aging Nagby, and now that I agree with Brian that this is more of a Nancy Ball 2.0 without Nagby and without a defensive mid, what part of that system works?
Yep.
We do not have the personnel to make the system
That's the
work.
big issue. Yeah.
And I am not going to say that Nancy was a bad coach because he got us 2 trophies and he got us some very exciting soccer
Mm-hmm.
for 3 years. But you cannot look at the last 3 years and say that his system was bailed out multiple times by Cucho and his end-to-end play. Um, the idea that, oh, we should just hire Nancy, he's available. No one on this roster is going to fix the issues that the team has.
Yeah.
They could be adjusting to whatever Rudstrom's doing, and I'll give them that. But it's also asinine that Rudstrom could come in and try to tailor Nancy Ball to his own tactics and expect it to succeed without the roster needed.
Yeah.
The conversation of our GM is a completely separate issue, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to bring that up. But
We've talked about it
the
enough.
roster,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the roster construction does not cater to the system that we played for the last 3 years, and it got sorely exposed after Leagues Cup 24. And
Mm-hmm.
last season, it got brutalized against teams that figured out how to play against it. I mean, guys,
Yeah.
we played teams that played a high press every game, and it immediately broke us. And we knew it going into the game. Like, can we
Mm-hmm.
please stop the Nancy talk? Like, it's not happening.
I'm kind of
And
tired. Oh, sorry. If you have more, keep
and it
continue.
shouldn't
Yeah.
happen
Yeah.
because we need a coach, and I'm not saying fire Rudstrom, but we need a coach that looks at the roster and says, all right, we're gonna be a lockdown, ugly defensive team, and we're gonna win games 1-0. Cool,
Yeah.
let's do it. But let's not try to do this fancy offensive play when we don't have the players for it. And I have one other thing, and this is
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I'm ranting now,
No,
but
you're good.
the one thing that really annoyed me about Nancy Ball is it gassed our players, and we didn't make subs.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah.
we are 4 games into the season. Why do our players have their hands on their knees in the 18-yard box with 3 minutes left before stoppage time.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
It's good.
And I'll also say,
And I don't.
before you continue, I don't think we actually need to break down this game. I don't
No.
we know what the issues
there's-
are. We know.
we
Yeah.
Oh no, the breakdown is that Andre Gomez was the biggest positive we've seen
Yeah,
this
he was
season.
he was good man of the match for sure.
Yeah.
That was the biggest positive we've seen so far.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Do you have more? Yeah.
yeah, I have one more thing. I'm not going to touch on faith. Everybody has the right to express faith the way that they see fit,
Yeah.
and if you're committed to your faith, I'm in support of that. The fasting thing,
Yeah.
I'm all for. If you want to do that, that's great. But if we build a roster where almost half of our team is in that condition, we're not winning games. Like athletically.
At least during this time of the year.
Yeah, and it's just it's not something that I'm gonna harp on because it's
Yeah.
faith based, but it's something to keep in mind. Like, have some expectations going into the game that if we're starting half of our roster and they're in the most major calorie deficit that an athlete can be in,
Yeah.
our lack of gas is understandable. So my previous comment of we looked gassed, there's some explanation to it, but also guys that don't even practice that faith looked gassed.
Yeah.
And I think that's an issue that we need to monitor.
It's funny because I mean, that was a big thing for Nancy was fitness, and I think that's a big thing for Rudstrom as well. And I don't know. I mean, it might just be because it's early in the season and the people are just trying to get match fit. But in that case, I feel like the subs need to be more prevalent than they have been. We've only made 5 subs in the game one time. We made 3 in game 2.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, we made 3 in game 2, 1 in game 3, and then 3 yesterday. And yeah, you can see the players are gassed. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with giving him time, but I would love for the time to come with some.
Oh, there goes Matt again.
Oh, I want to give him time too, and I think that the important thing is giving him time with no improvement is an exercise in futility.
Yep.
But we need to see some improvement either at individual positions or we need to see improvement across the board. Like, I know somebody called us a Arvston hater on a certain website, but
He had a decent game last night for the most part.
he had a decent game, but the problem is he's still predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what he's doing when he goes up the left side of the field with the ball. And to me, that just lends yourself to being easy to defend. So you're not going to be able to create in tight spaces because you need the space to do what you want to do with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm going to say about Arvston.
We mentioned Abu Ali earlier. Gabe was at the game as well, and he sent me a picture after the game. And this is the second time, I guess, in the 2 home games so far. After the final whistle, Abu Ali isolated himself. Like, he didn't go up to his teammates. He both times Josh Williams had to go to him to get over to talk to do the Wiseman with the rest of the team. And that's not a good sign for me, for a guy who's supposed to be the star man on the team. And I don't know if he's in his own head or if he's just pissed off that we're not winning games or he's not getting service or what. But he needs to be a part of this group.
It is probably a mixture of everything. And I will also point out to that too, that I have mentioned that before. Even when he scored that garbage goal, he didn't seem like he was happy about it. And when you're walking off at halftime, he was walking alongside Taha, and he was trying to talk to Taha. And Taha just was like ignoring him. Like, he just didn't want to hear what he had to say. And so he had to grab him and pull him back and try to. So I don't know, man. Like, there's a weird thing. Obviously, we are not integrated in the team. We don't know.
Yeah.
This has been a concern of mine though, and it was brought up that he is gonna just leave for money, and it's just like a quick stop. But there have just been these weird signs, I think, since we have signed him and announced the signing and how everything has gone, that I think he was expecting more out of being here already. And I think maybe it
Oh
is
yeah.
his expectation was so much higher and he's getting here and it's not looking great so far. Um it's a little concerning to me, and that yeah, I don't know where his head is at. Maybe that's not fair. But I could potentially, even with all the rumors and stuff going around last year, we're like, yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He's not going to leave before the season starts. I could potentially see him being like, if they don't play well, being like, hey, I'm ready to go halfway through the season, and then we're going to be screwed again.
It was his attitude, I think, is an issue. I was just ready to go home last night, so I didn't stay for Wiseman. I was on the south end. Um,
Southside.
but every time he was in the 18-yard box and he didn't get the ball, he like shrugged his arms up, looked up to the sky, and just kind of like moseyed back to the midfield because, of course, we had an errant pass into the box. But I'm like, dude, you're running straight lines and you're getting double teamed in the box. Like,
He was sitting behind his defender very
y-
often.
you're not helping yourself. You're
Yeah.
not drawing the keeper. You're not pulling your defense back. You're not creating space for Rossi. You're not
Yeah.
creating space for Arston. Like, I'm sorry, you're the striker. You score goals, but you have to play off the ball. Like,
Hmm.
I don't care who the coach is. That is part of the game, is playing off the ball. And I don't know much about the Egyptian league, but from what I've seen, he just expects the ball to land at his feet and have open space.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how this league works. Like, it's kind of a meme that MLS has bad defense, but it doesn't mean that they don't play defense,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And if you're not helping yourself, then they're definitely going to play defense because they
Yeah.
know that they can exploit that against you. So I think his attitude overall is going to be something to keep an eye on.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
And
don't know,
hopefully we're just
if a
hopefully
young player, go ahead, Brian, sorry.
I was gonna say, hopefully we're just overthinking this. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you really pay attention to the team and the dynamics of it, I don't know, man. It's like I don't really feel like. I mean, he was definitely smiling and happy after Taha put that in the back of the net. Um, I don't know, man. I just don't really feel like he seems like that happy kind of smiling. I'm happy with where things are at player. And again, I think maybe it's just his expectations for how he thought things were going to go haven't really panned out so far. And I don't know. Maybe hopefully it's wrong. Hopefully, if we're not wrong, somebody else is picking up on that, like the Haslam's and Isatal, and we can have a backup
Hmm.
plan prepared for us in case of an untimely departure or something like that, which may or may not happen. But um, yeah, I don't know.
So instead of focusing on one player, I want to ask you guys, what do you think the overall team attitude is? Because I got some stuff to say from what I saw on the warm up line, but
Well, if you guys looked at when Nashville scored, like the players just looked like, okay, here we go again. Like
yeah,
there wasn't even any kind of. It almost just felt like their heads just dropped. Like obviously, letting in a goal last minute is disappointing, but like
hmm,
the body language just wasn't there. The body language just does it. The body language doesn't give me hope for the next game. Like
no,
it doesn't. I don't look at them and think, okay, they're like, okay, guys, let's get together and let's try to turn this around. It
Yeah.
looks like, oh, this is what we are now, and
So so
I'm
does
not even
that fall
saying,
on
yeah.
Sean Zawatsky
I think
being
a little
captain?
bit. I think he's a new captain, and
hmm,
it's something he hasn't had that role before. I mean, he's held the armband before when Nagby was out or whatever, but in terms of being the guy, it's never been his role, and I think it's a role he can grow into, and I think that is his future with the team. Um,
I
but
think he needs some help from
he
Morera
does,
and Macho because they're older.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, there's two parts to it. A captain, kind of like a DP, the captain should be a guy who the other players look to,
Hmm.
right? I I don't feel like the players look to Camacho to lead the team, and I don't think they should.
No.
And I'm not knocking Camacho, but he's at the end of his career, and
Well, and that's something that like it makes you wonder
he got worked on that
because
goal.
he did. It was miserable. I didn't
Yeah,
even realize how bad he got worked
it was
until I saw the
bad.
replay.
Yeah,
But
MLS posted it multiple times.
he he is there for one reason, and this is why I say I don't really know what his role is. He's there to be an experienced center back.
Yeah,
So I don't even know if he has a role on the team outside of his position. um no, but one of the things I wanted to touch on with the attitude is they were warming up on the sideline or on the end line, and I don't expect him to show a major intensity doing warm-ups. I mean, it's warm-ups, you know.
yeah.
Um but dude, they look so disinterested in what was happening. Um I feel bad for Gazdag in one way. If you watch him warm up, if you're ever on the south end and you watch him warm up, he knows his place on the team, and he is not getting out of that place.
Yeah.
And you can see it on his face that he's just like, it's not that he's done with the team. He's just like, I don't
I
even
feel
know
like
if he was given a shot with the
yeah.
new coach.
Yeah.
I feel like his confidence is shot to the point where I don't think it comes back, at least here.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah.
And the
but
sad thing
even-
is that like getting him offloaded is going to be tough because nobody's going to want to pick the remaining part of his contract up. Most likely,
No, they're-
within MLS anyways. But I don't think that there are teams overseas that look and see the kind of production he has to be like, yeah, we'll be willing to do that. So it's a tough place for him. I mean, yeah, you do kind of feel bad for him, but I agree. I don't think that Riedstrom really has a place particularly for him in the starting. I don't know. It's not like it's not like Neil's out there doing anything wrong in practice. It's not like he has an attitude or he's not putting in effort. I think he is, and if you watch and look at the thing that the Massive Report did where they asked him about that,
Yeah.
he's just like, I told him that, and it's not like he's not like bitter at me. He just like, okay, cool. Like I think that he just realizes though that he doesn't have a place within this team really at this point. I don't think that Riedstrom has any real desire to put him into that unless it's necessary. So
yeah, it's kind of on one
and that sucks
end,
for that
I feel
amount of
for
money.
him. Yeah, yeah. But like that's the biggest issue, or that hinders us fixing the biggest issues with this team is his contract. And because he's getting paid a DP slot, he's not playing. He's played maybe 90 minutes this season so far. And
Maybe.
like yeah,
Gazdag?
Gazdag.
I don't know, not even that much.
Yeah, and we can't, like, we've talked about it before. I'm not gonna go super deep into it, but you're not gonna find a team in MLS that is fighting for championships without 3 good DPs. I mean, you saw Nashville. The DPs came onto the field and they changed the game completely. Like Espinoza, Surridge, Mukhtar, they came on, and honestly, all 3 of them, if they're on the ball, they're dangerous. And like we have 2 DPs and one that is not playing well and one that is being put out of his natural position basically. And how do you fix that without dropping Gazdag in some way? But like we said, it's gonna be hard to do. And yeah,
I love the comment that Jake made in the Discord channel about like we could just send him back to Philly because it seems like they could use the help. I mean, it couldn't hurt, right?
I was that's on a side note. At least we're not Philly right now, because wow,
We very well could be. Philly's rough, but what do you expect when you get rid of your entire?
you in 2 seasons they
Pretty
got
much
rid of their
entire
full starting lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has played 72 minutes this season.
Yeah, it's just not good enough, and I've seen a lot of people talking about like, hey, let's stop dogging on Gazdag all the time. I'm not even honestly dogging on him, like I mean, he's not doing well enough as a player. But my biggest issue is not just him as a player. It's what with MLS, the certain kind of roster construction we have.
It is the
It's
production and the amount
just
of time he's spending on the field per his salary.
yeah. Oh, and the salary is the big
And,
thing. And like
and
we
none of those things are balancing themselves out.
yeah
And it's not as if he has not had a chance to do it. It just has not worked. And everybody was really
it's
excited because we're like, hey man, like he's a really great goal scorer. He's scoring goals at Philly. He's great. And then we got here and it's like y'all got fleeced because aside from PKs, I'm not understanding how this works.
yeah. And
I don't want
we
to spend too much time on him, but can I ask you guys a question about Gosdog?
sure.
Sure.
Almost a year into his time with us, what was he brought onto this team to do? Because it was not to be a Cucho replacement.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I do not know the answer to that. I think that we were missing attacking power, and they looked at Daniel Gazdag and said, "Oh, Philly's willing to get rid of him. We can sign him as a DP. He played really well in Philly. He'll work for us. He'll do whatever we need him to do." And so they brought him in and signed him, and then it hasn't worked because it was a band-aid, and it was a band-aid
It was
not
a
big enough for the wound.
and it was a band-aid that we put on the team for 3 years.
It
And
feels like
Yeah,
when
because
you're
we
sitting
signed a
there
contract
building,
extension
or like right after
right after
we got him. Yeah.
right after we signed him, and it was like, dude, he wasn't producing enough after the like couple months that he was there. I'm like, why did we do that? Like, at least test him out a little bit more. I think
Yeah.
we shot ourselves in the foot with that deal. No
We
offense.
did. We 100% did. It might be one of the
it
worst
feels
deals the
like
crew has made in their history.
it feels
Yeah.
like it was you're trying to build your fantasy team and you see his stats and you're like, oh, this player's gonna be good,
Yeah.
and you don't actually watch the player play.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
that's where Issa got all his stuff from. Wasn't there no, who was it? Somebody did that. Was it a soccer coach? Or no, it was a GM of somebody that they were using like um I think maybe it was football. They were like choosing people based off of their PFF, like
Oh yeah, the Jets were doing that.
the Jets. Yeah, that's what it was. Oh, dude, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's what it feels like. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about this game. Like I said, I will say that I am sick and tired of doing the same thing that we do every single week, which is figuring out what is the problem, what is the problem, what is the problem, and we don't have any Matt's audio because Matt's not on, but we don't have any answers. We don't know. And honestly, yeah, it's a different guess
I'm
every
back.
week.
So with that, I don't want to talk about the game. Who was the best individual player for the crew
Andre
last
Gomez.
night?
Andre
Okay.
Gomez, by far.
I agree. He was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, and he wasn't perfect, but he
No, but it showed to
yeah.
me. It showed glimpses of what the team needed, and they needed
Yeah.
anchor midfield play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A guy who can control tempo, who's not going
Who
to lose
would
the
have?
ball.
Would he have had? No, he would not have had an assist. He didn't make. He didn't have any touches in that play for the offside goal, right? Didn't he make the pass to Arfston?
I honestly don't remember.
I mean, it would
I
have been
believe he
Arfston.
had
It would have been an Arfston. No, it wouldn't even have been an assist at that point. But he would have had like a key touch within that.
yeah.
So, and that's huge. I mean, it was a good showing for his first game, and especially somebody that like you know of because he's played in Europe. But people are like, "Oh man, he's injury prone. I don't really know." Like he seemed like he was a natural fit for what he was doing, and I'm excited to see what else he's going to keep bringing.
Yeah,
Not
if we
sure.
had any true positive, it was that there is a I don't want to go as far to say it's a foundation, but it's something to build off of, and I don't
Mhm.
know if we had that from the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Um the problem with that is you're going into a winnable game against Toronto and you have something to build off of. That's not a great place to be in, but I want to be a little bit more positive as we close out the episode. So, I thought personally that Taha had a decent game last night. I don't think it was stellar, but I think it
He
was better
pressed
than what he's
very
put
well.
out. And I agree with that. I think,
Yeah.
especially sitting on the side that I did, I saw him a lot, and I think his press was very good.
Yeah.
Um, And I think defensively, I think the back four is the way to go. I just think that
Mhm.
we looked a lot more comfortable. And I think our wingers just need to get used to playing with a smaller field, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, we looked a lot, even though Camacho got burned on the goal. Um, we looked a lot more organized in the back, and I think that was because the sidelines were filled with our left and right backs instead of expecting our wingers to go two ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So
know
I
if you.
think for me,
Sorry.
those are my positives.
I don't know if you guys
Um,
noticed, but we played in more of a four back like shape in this game.
yeah,
Um,
I loved it.
Ar-
I thought it was
Arston was a
great.
lot higher than he has been this season. Um, Amundsen moved out wide more often. Um, I liked the shape better. I thought that it gave us more options in the attacking third, but yeah, it's just actually finishing. But yeah, I actually
Yeah,
I'm counting that as a positive because I like that we're finally starting to try to do what Rudstrom wants. And
and I
yeah,
will say, go us because we talked about playing in a back four,
yeah,
and that Edmondson would look a lot more comfortable in it. And I think he had a.
he
I don't think any of them had a great game, but I think
yeah
he played really well last night,
he was invisible in a way, which is a good thing. Like I
especially as a left back.
yeah, like you didn't see him and be like, oh, Amundsen made this mistake. Amundsen made like he almost just did his role and he was there, and
Hmm.
I'm good with that. Brian's laughing at something.
No, I'm sorry. I pulled my phone up because I was like looking at FOMO, looking through scores.
Hmm.
Cincinnati was up 1-0 against New England Revolution, and they are now down 2-1 against the New England Revolution. And I think that is hilarious
It is.
It was like
because New
immediate.
England's terrible. I mean, I shouldn't say anything because we lost to Nashville too for half the thing. But man, talk about a turnaround there. That's pretty. That's pretty great. So, anyways, that's all I gotta say
Well,
about that.
let's face it. All three of the teams are trash except for Nashville. Well, of the four teams we have mentioned on this episode, Nashville's the only actually good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're how many? They're one of the only undefeated teams left. How many we have? Oh, actually, quite a 4, 5, 6 undefeated teams
Hmm.
left in the league still, and that is
We
NYCFC, Nashville, and that's it in the Eastern Conference, and then LAFC, San Diego, Vancouver, and San Jose. All like, dude, the West is going to be so good this year. Like, let's
This
be
conference is
completely
so
honest.
bad.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference is going to look weak this year. And that's unfortunate, but
we are one of only three teams left in the league that haven't won a game yet.
That
yep.
hurts.
Um, what do we do to fix that? like I mean I do mean that jokingly a little bit, but also like where does that win come?
You know what the funny thing about that though is that it. Let me just read this off. So
Yeah.
Philly is 0-0-4.
Yep.
St. Louis is 0-1-3.
Mm-hmm.
Columbus Crew are 0-2-2.
Yeah.
So it's like literally we're just one. Everybody in those last three are just one game better than the team below them,
Yeah.
which
I
is
think that's what.
extremely
Yeah.
interesting to me.
0 points,
That's
1 point,
hilarious.
2 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a win on Saturday puts us currently in fifth or
Yep.
sixth.
It's
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 early.
crazy.
It's early in the year, which like the
Yeah.
if we can figure it out, the season's not shot at all. Like
No.
like it's
No.
I don't like that kind of mindset where people are like, oh well, season's done. Like
No, it's just
it's not.
everything's the optics of it.
Yeah,
It's
I saw one person saying like their crew fans are spoiled and the team has been bad before, it's bad right now. Gotta keep backing the team. And like a part of me is like, yeah, we're not I don't think any of us are ever gonna stop backing the team.
No, we were
But it's
spoiled for a long time, but we are
yeah, and we
genuinely
were.
concerned because we've never seen the team go from being as good as we were to this bad.
Yeah. Very
Maybe,
quickly.
well, it's actually probably, yeah, very quick. Well, I mean,
There's
if we're being
2015 to
completely honest,
2016 was bad. And
2015 to 2016 was horrendous, and even
Yeah.
2020 to 2021 was bad.
Yeah.
So, and those are coming off championship seasons. But it, yeah, I get that
I
in a way.
just don't subscribe to the whole like mindless.
The sky is not falling yet.
The sky's not falling,
It's
but at the same time,
it's
I'm not
concerning.
just gonna be happy and excited for whatever happens with the crew. I love
Well,
this team,
because I guarantee
but yeah,
you that a DC fan said in the mid 2000s, "Oh, hey, everybody has bad seasons. We just gotta keep supporting the team."
and now look,
I
yeah,
guarantee you.
yeah, yeah,
And now look at them.
yeah.
Like,
It's there's a balance between criticizing the team and supporting the team, and
yeah.
you have to be able to do both at the same time.
And
And,
when we
yeah.
say like, "Oh, the roster construction sucks," like, we're not saying that the players are bad. We're not saying the coach is bad. It's just
Doesn't work.
the personnel isn't there to make it work the way
Yeah.
that it needs to work. And that primarily goes to the center defensive mid and the center mid that we've been talking about. But
Yeah.
So okay. So before we wrap up, what are your guys' thoughts on Nashville after seeing them play a full 90? Well, actually, their first team play a full 45.
Well,
I
so
said it
true-
before the season started, but I think they're an MLS Cup contender.
I think so.
I would agree with
Yeah.
that. I honestly was very surprised that we held them off to one goal
Yeah.
after they put everybody on. I mean, especially because we didn't really make any subs, we didn't do any of that kind of stuff. I think as soon as we saw Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surge come on, we're like, oh well, this game's over. And then it literally took them until the dying seconds to put the ball in the back of the net. And I will say I was pleasantly surprised that it took them that long to do that, honestly. So I think that's kudos to us for at least showing somehow, some way we were able to stop them all the way up into that point, but we just conceded because of X factor, whatever that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I genuinely think the way that they're playing, man, they're an MLS Cup contender. They're going to make a deep playoff run this year.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes.
I think they're one of the best coached teams in the league. I think
BJ Callahan's a great coach.
Yeah, and I'm not going to glaze Nashville. That's not the point of this podcast by any means, but I didn't appreciate their US Open Cup run last summer. Because now hindsight's 2020, of course, but what they've been building is like this year is the culmination of that, it feels like. And they've kind of done it the right. We've mentioned this last week where they've kind of done it the right way, but it comes to coaching, man. That he is a good coach, and I did not appreciate that last season. So
it's interesting because they've been building over time. They've got a few players in, played a season, saw the issues, fixed the issues, came in next season, saw the issues, fixed the issues, and now they're on the road to winning the league again. And
yeah, they're not throwing cash at the wall hoping it sticks, and I think that's it kind of goes against the grain of what the league has done recently. So I don't know. I was happy to see them in person. It was the first time I've done that. I think it's funny that they went from this like stingy defensive team who was really annoying to play against, and now they're just like this Death Star offense.
Yeah, it's insane. They have like arguably the best striker in the league with Surge. Mukhtar, who's an MVP, a past MVP. They have Espinoza, who is probably the best passer.
I forgot to mention him. Yeah.
Espinoza, if not the best, top 3 or 4.
Yeah, and I think Nahar has defensive player of the year potential.
And his long ball is insane. Nahar, yeah, and like their whole team. Eddie Tegseth is tiny, but he is annoying as heck to play against.
I thought it was funny that a team that we don't watch every week, we kind of scouted them last week in our preview episode.
Yeah.
And we were right about virtually almost everything.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough. But yeah, that's all I've got, honestly. I don't got a whole lot. Here.
Yeah, I just want to get your opinion on our opponent because I feel like we preview them and then we don't review them as much. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Any other thoughts?
No. Yeah. I don't have anything. get this ship turned around, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it quickly.
Hey, the
Because
best part is
I'm also tired of seeing all the infighting in the Nordeck Facebook group. It'd be nice to get a win
rough.
for once.
It's rough.
Yeah, I'm tempted to just like take a break from it for a while because it pops up in my feed every 10 minutes, the same things, and then all you want, but yeah, it's just tough. Tough to
Yeah.
read through.
The best part is, regardless of the result Saturday, we have an international break the following weekend, so
Yeah.
we have a chance to right the ship in more ways than one. So, who wants to close us out today?
I can. That's fine.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Hey, thank you guys again. Thanks to everybody listening. Check us out on all the socials, Instagram, Twitter, X, I don't know, wherever else we're at. Yeah, TikTok, all those things. Special shout out again to Clearpoint Audio for their sponsorship, and be sure to check us out on the National Soccer Network. You can download their channel on the Roku app as well, so you can check all of our stuff out on there as well, however you need to. But yeah, we'll just keep chugging along. Like I said, we'll see what this next week brings. So go Crew.
Go Crew.
For the Crew podcast,